Alright, welcome to the second channel. It is currently a crispy 1 AM, so get out your tea, get out your snacks, because I'm about to attempt to make a video without a script. Today's subject, slavery. I just wanted to put that meme in somewhere. I could never use that for like an actual video, so, you know, there it is. Now, the actual topic is, of course, City Skylines 2, and my experience with it. Of course, like I said 10 seconds ago, this is a video without a script. I've made this video like 15,000 times in my head, but as a non-native English speaker, you know, I've got a severe case of the English in my head versus English when I speak, right? So I'm sorry if this video might seem a bit all over the place. It's, you know, it's late. I just wanna talk about this. First things first, the thing you probably heard, whether you play it or not, is the performance. Bad performance always like overshadows a launch, no matter how good that game is. Rightfully so, obviously. Of course, the most famous one being Cyberpunk 20-something. And then there's, of course, Unity, my favorite Assassin's Creed game. Got completely, you know, bombed because of like the shit at launch. But then if you go back to it now, it's actually such a good game. But it never quite got over those first very bad impressions. Because of course, you shouldn't be allowed to release a game like that. Because that's not a game, that's just, you know, it's nothing. So the same thing is happening to City Skylines 2, though not that severe, I think. Funny thing, my performance on City Skylines 2 is actually better than on the 1. Now, of course, I am running the 4090, I got the E9 fucking Schmeckel Deluxe, I don't know what it's called. The best of the best. But somehow the best of the best couldn't handle like a 5,000 population city in City Skylines 1, and it would just tank my frames down like to like 80 immediately. Whereas with City Skylines 2, I like hit 120 pretty consistently. Then again, I don't think I've made the city above 20k population, so who knows, those frames might drop any second now. So yeah, not having to deal with those performance issues, I want to make this video kind of positive, because people have been so negative about this game, and I just love it. And I just wanna like not focus on performance for a bit, because for sure it's gonna fix it. I think like the last patch dropped as well, which helped a lot. I hope. I wouldn't know because the game runs fine for me. But I just want to bring some positivity into this whole ordeal. Because to me, it's not a bad game at all. Performance is fine. The game is completely fine. Aside maybe from some balancing stuff, surely. That low density demand being kinda hefty. Also, some more context. I played the City Skylines 1 fucking 8 years ago. I remember it like playing at my girlfriend's house on the fucking laptop. My god, that's a long time ago. But I never bought any of the DLCs. So even up till recently, when I would revisit that game from time to time, like it's like, you know, once every 2 years, I would just play vanilla City Skylines. So to me, I'm comparing that with the two. Whereas most people, like, you know, content creators, people who have played the game like religiously and loved it, like modded it, all that stuff, they've got like all the DLCs, like 8 years worth of DLC, and now they're comparing that to a brand new game. So obviously I can see how, you know, it feels like a lesser experience. Whereas for me, I'm just getting new stuff. This is great. The whole production tab, I think, is DLC from CS1. That's just there now. Winter with snow, like all the map covered in snow, very sexy, love it, also DLC. So what I'm trying to say here is, if you have the best of the best PC and you never played the first game, then you're gonna love this game. To be fair, it's kind of hard to explain as to why I like this game so much, because it's, at its core, a very simple game. You manage a city. I got this like kind of weird soft spot for, I guess you call them like building sims, and that all started with Civilization City Rome back in the day. My god.
Now you must rebuild the glory, the splendor that was Rome.
Or if you want to go even further than that, it's like Cossacks or Red Alert 3. Little funny story there. I didn't realize RTS was a genre. I just tried to like make a nice city, right? Like StarCraft and stuff. I was like, oh, I'm gonna build my city. Like, why are they attacking me? Like, what is? I don't like this whole combat aspect of it. I just want to build a city. Figure that out about 15 years later. I'd love to make like this triangle where it's like the top it says management, Bottom right it says competitive, and bottom left it says like just creation. And I think like every building sim you can put in there somewhere. Like for example, Planet Coaster, that's just building, right? That's just creative. Excuse me, that's just creative. Whereas Planet Zoo kind of brings in that like management stuff, so it's like kind of between there. There's no competition. Whereas something as StarCraft, that's just competition, right? In my head, I had like this perfect game that would fit like right in the middle of the triangle, but I forgot. What was I even talking about? I told you it's gonna be a chaos-filled video. I'm sorry. Actually, no. You know, sorry to myself because I gotta edit this and gotta somehow make a video out of this. Maybe I should drink more. You know, I've never been drunk. 26 years old. Never been drunk in my life. I got amaretto here. I don't know if I should show that on stream. It's not stream. It's a video. There's nobody here. Hello. It's fucking 1:30 AM. It's very late. But yeah, I would put City Skylines 2 above Planet Zoo when it comes to management. It's more of a management game than, I think, creative. That is not to say you cannot build gorgeous cities, but your creativeness comes from how you manage your city. I think I just wanted to explain like what type of game this is. I think that's where this all came from. But of course, if you've played the first game and then you played the second game, you probably quickly realize that this is a completely different game. Like, just the cadence to it is so different. If you're scared to like get in the second game because you think like, oh, maybe I gotta play like the more basic first game, don't. It has like nothing prepares you for it. Maybe like the street building a little bit, like you know how traffic goes, but you're gonna have to learn that anyway. But the game is just so different on like a fundamental level. Way slower, I think. You cannot just put stuff down, right? Oh, this is the man, like boop, boop, just put everything down, like color everything, and then just like see everything rise. I don't think it works that way. It's gotta be very thought out and with purpose. Apparently, like, you know, if you lower taxes on certain degrees of education, it makes people want to get an education or something. Like, it's stuff like that. But I think, like, are they, you know, are they lying to me, these content creators? Like, how do you know it? Like, this makes no sense. Like, you know, every time you see this video on how to manage your City Skylines 2 city, it's always like, oh, you want to do this, so your people are more, you know, your citizens are more pushed to do this type of thing. Like, what? How do you know? Like, did they program all of that? Like, every single... Like, it's so weird, but I guess somewhere it has to be that way. Which makes the game very hard to learn. I mean, I have like 5 save files where I just went bankrupt. So I just couldn't play the game anymore. Whereas in City Skylines 1, I don't think I ever ran out of money. Ever. It was just, you know, when you have like your baseline, it just works and you just build and build and build. And especially in City Skylines 1, it always felt like you... I mean, I played vanilla, don't forget. You reach like a point where you unlock high density buildings, offices, and you know, you've got your stuff. And then you just like add. And it's just like, okay, there's more demand for residential. I'll just add a square, add more, and you know, there's not much thought to it. And I'm not saying that isn't the case with City Skylines 2 because they need a lot and a lot of low density housing, but it feels like there's so much more thought behind it. Even though I do not know what those thoughts are, you know, like they say like, oh, you know, lower the tax, I don't know. It just makes your city feel so much more alive and it's really cool. Really hard, but cool. Also, the game looks gorgeous. Like, wow. I mean, I know the performance, once again, you know, for most people, I'm obviously not most people, but for most people, it's kind of rough. But it's a gorgeous game. I just love... My girlfriend, like, can't stand it, but I just love putting the game on like, first speed, and I just looking at my city. I got, like, one district, right? I got, like, one farm. I'm just, like, looking at, like, the city I live. I just love it. I just, like, look at it. And she's like, why aren't you playing? Like, there's demand, like, you know, make your city. I'm like, no. Just look at it. Gorgeous. The same way as a child, whenever I would build Legos, I love building Legos. We all do. Who doesn't? You know, besides the point. I would love to just present my Lego. I just love to like look at it. Whereas my brother would always like come in and try like grab my Lego techniques and try like, you know, fucking erase me or something. Like, do not touch my Legos, fucker. I just want to look at it, appreciate it. Yes. And this game, let me tell you, on speed 1, it definitely gives you the time to appreciate your stuff because it is slow. You should not play this game on 1 speed. It's just there for people like me who just want to like look at it. They also now launch with both American and European style, which is a godsend. Even though I know like European style is so fucking broad, Like it's saying like Iceland is the same as like Italian architecture. Like, you know, it's more European, but it's not European, you know? How could it be? Side note, I gotta say, I love the row houses. Oh my god. Because that is so, like, Belgium. Like, Belgium is just filled with, like, row houses like that. But even with those gorgeous, like, you know, row houses and the whole European style, which also affects now high density, you know, medium density, like, it's so nice. Because, oh yeah, I should remember, like, in City Skylines 1, it was when you put on, like, European district, you had to, like, unlock districts and then give your district a style, give it, like, European district style. And it would basically have, like, this one style of building. So this big brick, very nice looking building. But they would use it for high density, high commercial, and offices. They would all be the same buildings with like different billboards on it. It was so bad to look at. I never like played around with mods as well, just for context. So yeah, the new European stuff, amazing. Love it. As you know, as a European. But, here's the but, with all that said and done, there is still the biggest issue that I have with the game, even with this first game, and people like kind of mention it sometimes, but like nobody makes a big deal out of it. But I'm gonna make a big deal of it. This is like my one thing with the game. I love the game to death, right? Love it. But this is my one gripe with the game, also with the first game, and that is of course fucking curved roads. Yes, if you've played City Skylines, you know that curved roads just don't work. Looks great, doesn't work. And why not? Well, because the buildable areas next to your roads just become these very weird small squares. It doesn't like line up. It doesn't organically fill the space with buildable area. Very stiff and like sporadical bungalows will appear when you try to put low density or any density, of course, on curved roads. Which one, of course, is a very bad usage of your space. You're gonna use like twice the space for, you know, only half the citizens. You cannot put any source buildings on the inner side of the thing. If you put it on the outer edge, it looks kind of off. And they do their best with like filling in the spaces, but not really. Talking about filling spaces, I thought they were gonna fix this in City Skylines 2, but like in 1, if you place a lot of buildings next to each other, it doesn't even like build buildings, right? It keeps like the green in between there. It doesn't like just make it like asphalt or like concrete and give like that nice, you know, big city look. Because obviously between buildings there's just, you know, concrete or like bricks, whatever. And in the second game that is still not the case. So on top of the building still being super jank on curved roads, it also doesn't like just fill it out. If you have like, for example, let's say a triangle, because of course straight roads are all that you need. American style, that's just how the game works. But even in America, like in New York, I believe you have that like a big diagonal road going through it. You have that like triangle-shaped building that you see in Spider-Man, I think it is. I know what it is. I just thought like it's going to be a huge, you know, after 8 years, the big evolution of this game, and it's just I would have loved to have those more organic buildings, and not organic, like I said, like a triangle, not that organic. But, you know, just having them fill out the space somehow. I know it's very, it sounds very hard to do. That's like the one thing also keeping us from actually creating really European-looking cities. Excuse me. Because in Europe, if you didn't know, if you are an American watching this, basically you have a castle, a church, mostly a church, and then people start building around that church, right, in an organical fashion. And maybe if it's a big enough city, they put like a big wall around it, historically, obviously. And, you know, it goes on and goes on and goes on. Nowadays, most of the times, those walls have been taken down. Maybe they like got replaced because there's like all the space now because of the wall. And they put like a big road there, like a big, we call it a ring. It's like literally like, you know, circle, a ring around cities. And it's basically like, you know, a big circle that keeps expanding. That's how our cities are built, which is of course totally different from the American squares. You know, I do not care which you think is better, or like which looks better. I just wish we had the option to actually do the circles, especially because we've got the European style buildings now. But that just, it just isn't the case. And I don't think they will ever add that as well, because I think it's just something you need at a like base level, like coded in there. I think it's possible to still add that afterwards. So that is my one issue with the game. If you really want to build European looking cities and you can't stand, I'm trying my best, by the way. I'm trying my best to, like, you know, have the squares, have the districts, but, you know, have them like little jank, make it just a little bit more interesting to look at. I mean, even if you look at the city, like my hometown, Antwerp, Anvers, it's got different names. In the end, there's a lot of squares there as well, but like they're very, you know, organic, all fucked up looking squares basically. But the houses kind of follow that, right? Which is just not possible in City Skylines 2. Very big rant. It's just like that one thing. Of course, there's also a lot of improvements over the first game. Like, for example, landscaping. You get that from the get-go, and it's free. You don't have to like pay for it. That's great. This elevation, it's still, okay, I feel like I'm being kind of negative, but the elevation is still kind of, it's not good to look at. It's really hard. It's really hard to make elevation look good. It requires a lot of effort and experience, which is not, you know, something you have from the get-go. There's no quays. That's kind of annoying though. The way you gotta do the quays with the roads, that's not really great. Oh boys, now I'm just thinking of stuff that I like that's not really great. Like, for example, the farms. Oh my god, where's the grain? It's just the ground. All the farms look the same. You got the chicken farms, you get the vegetable farms, the textile farms. They all look the same, and it's just ground. There's no like actual like wheat or something growing. I think they can easily add that, so I'm not too worried about that. But I think those are like all my gripes with the game basically. Aside from that, I just want to reiterate here that I love this game. It's so much fun. I don't think any other game will make you feel like you're creating a living thing. Like, it's hard to explain, but it's like City Skylines 1, it's cute. Oh, you got a little city. Oh, look at the cars. Pew, pew, pew. Oh no, there's traffic. But in the 2, you're like, it's alive. Like, it's real. It's crazy. And, you know, whether the economy is fake or not to some people, and the simulation is all just like kind of a front, and it doesn't actually have interesting, you know, life cycles inside there. I don't care. It looks good. I believe, you know, suspension of disbelief. I believe it. Of course, I do. One thing I think they kind of missed out on is the parks. Well, I mean, not missed out on. It's just the park DLC, which I didn't have in the first game, seemed almost integral to the game, right? To make like interesting looking parks, so you can have like a little area and you can just make a park out of it, so you don't have any lost space, which is great. Because the pre-made parks are, of course, just like these squares, which they don't even like line up great with like your pedestrian paths, and it's very hard to make them look natural. And it's the same thing in City Skylines 2. And I was hoping they would just integrate that DLC, which is a great DLC, which I, once again, don't have. I just watched videos on it. I was really hoping they would put that in the base game, but they didn't. That kind of sucks. But I'm sure that will come as a DLC, maybe even an update later. But so I'm not too worried about that. But you know, it kind of sucks like having to put these parks down. Not that sexy. I think this video is taking on way too long. It's already almost 2 AM now. I'm sure I forgot about 80% of what I actually wanted to say in this video, because that's just how this works. But I'm gonna make some more cities and be very, very excited for what the future holds for this game. If you want to get a building sim, I don't think there is anything you can get that is better than City Skylines 2 for sure. Just make sure your specs, your fucking PC, whatever, it's gonna come on console. So you know, in 6 months it's on console. So maybe I don't know. Is that fun? Controlling it on control? I don't know. Console people are weird. But yeah, I am very excited for what this game is gonna bring. The baseline game is amazing. Yeah, that is the opinion of somebody who hasn't put his life in City Skylines 1 and all DLCs and stuff. Alright, take care.